Chapter 1. A poet in Rome. Publius Ovidius Naso, known simply as Ovid, was born in 43 BCE in Sulmo, a town in the heart of Italy. By 8 AD, he had established himself as one of Rome's most celebrated poets, admired for his elegance and wit. His works, particularly the Metamorphoses, a mythological narrative poem, captured the imaginations of audiences, showcasing his ability to weave together themes of love, transformation, and the human experience. In the vibrant literary circles of Rome, Ovid was at the center of social life, attending banquets, engaging in intellectual debates, and sharing verses with fellow poets. His reputation was that of a hedonist and a lover of beauty, celebrated for his romantic poetry in works like the Amores and Ars Amatoria. Yet, despite his success, a shadow loomed over his poetic career, one that would soon engulf him entirely. Chapter 2. The climate of Rome. By the time of Ovid's exile, Rome was undergoing significant political and social transformation under the rule of Emperor Augustus. Augustus, who had risen to power after the tumultuous civil wars, sought to restore moral values and social order within the empire. His reforms included promoting traditional Roman values, including marriage and family life, while cracking down on perceived moral decay. As a result, artists, poets, and writers found themselves navigating a complex landscape, where the whims of imperial favor could dictate their careers. Ovid's poetry, often imbued with themes of love and desire, began to clash with the moralistic views of Augustus. The poet's carefree exploration of romantic escapades seemed to undermine the very values the emperor sought to promote. The political atmosphere was charged, and the emperor's discontent with certain forms of expression raised alarms among the artistic community. Ovid, ever the observant poet, sensed the shifting tides, but he could not foresee the impending storm that would alter the course of his life. Chapter 3. The incident that changed everything. The precise reasons for Ovid's exile remain shrouded in mystery and speculation. His writings were filled with themes of love and seduction, but it was an incident that triggered Augustus's ire. Ovid himself mentioned a carmen et error, a poem and a mistake, in his works, hinting at a scandalous event that may have involved the emperor's family. While scholars debate the specifics, many believe Ovid's poem, The Art of Love, may have offended the emperor's moral reforms. The work, which provided tips on seduction and love, clashed with Augustus's vision of a morally upright society. Additionally, some suggest that Ovid may have unwittingly become embroiled in a political conspiracy or scandal that reached the highest echelons of power. Whatever the case, the outcome was clear. In 8 AD, Ovid received the devastating news of his exile. The poet's world, once filled with inspiration and admiration, crumbled before him as he prepared to leave the city he loved. Chapter 4. The journey to Tomis. Ovid's exile to Tomis, a remote town on the shores of the Black Sea, modern-day Constanza, Romania, marked the beginning of a profound transformation in his life and work. The journey itself was one filled with anguish and despair. As he sailed away from Rome, the city that had nurtured his genius, he felt a profound sense of loss, both personally and artistically. Upon arriving in Tomis, Ovid encountered an alien landscape, starkly different from the bustling streets and cultural vibrancy of Rome. The coastal town was surrounded by wild, untamed nature, and the people spoke a language he barely understood. The isolation weighed heavily on him, amplifying his feelings of alienation. Chapter 5. The creative response to exile. Despite the challenges of exile, Ovid's spirit remained indomitable. He turned his pain into art, finding solace in the written word. The poet's exile would give rise to some of his most poignant and reflective works, capturing the complexities of his emotional landscape. In his letters, known as the Tristia, Sorrows, Ovid poured out his heart, addressing the injustice of his banishment and lamenting his lost life in Rome. These poems became a testament to his struggles, allowing him to express his longing for his homeland and the friends he had left behind. The Tristia resonated with themes of loss, love, and the fragility of life. Ovid's ability to articulate his emotions transformed his exile into a source of artistic inspiration. He reflected on the nature of happiness, the impermanence of life, and the power of memory, drawing upon the depths of his despair to create works that would endure through time. Chapter 6. A life in Tomis. As time passed, Ovid began to adapt to his new life in Tomis, even as he continued to yearn for Rome. He found a community of fellow exiles, including poets and philosophers, who shared in his struggles. Though their circumstances were similar, each individual bore their own story of loss and longing. The landscapes of Tomis, with its rugged coastlines and dramatic skies, inspired Ovid in unexpected ways. He wrote about the beauty of his surroundings, intertwining the natural world with his reflections on love and loss. The once vibrant poet began to find new themes to explore in his writing, transforming his experiences into a canvas of poetic expression. Chapter 7. The influence of exile on Ovid's work. Ovid's Exile produced a significant body of work that reflected his evolving thoughts and emotions. His later writings, particularly the Epistulae ex Ponto, Letters from the Black Sea, became a poignant collection of letters addressed to friends and patrons in Rome. In these letters, he recounted his experiences in Tomis and expressed his continued yearning for the city that had shaped his identity. The letters conveyed Ovid's vulnerability, showcasing his desire for reconciliation and a return to favor. He articulated his understanding of exile as both a physical and emotional separation, exploring the depths of loneliness and the longing for connection. The poetry of this period became a vessel for his emotional turmoil, resonating with anyone who had experienced loss or longing. Chapter 8. The return to favor. As years passed, the political landscape of Rome began to shift. Augustus's reign continued, but the political climate softened somewhat in the wake of his death in 14 AD.